everybody. Welcome to Todd's Corner. Sunday afternoon. It's cold here wherever you're at. I hope it's a little warmer than it is here. Um, Gonna do just a general discussion today. Just wanted to be here. I didn't have anything major to talk about or anything like that. So just figured I'd do a small show. We might get a little glimpse of Roy Vigiliquist, and he might pop in and see us here soon. I'd like to say happy birthday to Augie Gonzalez. Today's his birthday. Everybody out there, wish him a happy birthday. Let's see. Speaking of Roy, Roy's got his sci-fi, his tie-dye sci-fi show that he does twice a week. I didn't realize it was twice a week. That's pretty cool. That's really hard to do. I can't imagine trying to do that, do this twice a week. There's no way. I don't have enough time in the world to do it. So, I just posted it in the comments. You can click on it and go check out his show. He's got another one coming up Friday at 7, I believe. Friday and Sundays at 7 p.m. So on Sundays when I'm here at 2 o'clock, when we get done, you can watch his show at 7 o'clock. So there you go. I see Joe McNally's out there. Let's see what we got. We got 17 people watching. I guess I need to go check out, see who's in these areas here. And let's see. Now, hang on. I'm probably got to turn off my volume on this stuff. It gets a little crazy. Oh, there it is. See, I told you. I've got it muted and it's still. All right, I see Robert Beringer, how are you? Wayne Bryant, Steve Belinsky. Hey guys, how you doing? I've got 3 screens here, so let's see what I can find out here, and let's see if I'm live here. Episode 2. Here I am here. Turn the volume down. Anyway, so like I said, just a general discussion today. I'm going to go over some sales. I'm going to talk about Wonderfest, the Mahler's Magic Site, Robert Wood and David Hirsch's book. So I left a review on Amazon for their book. I've started reading it, but I don't get a lot of time to read, so I'm making my way through it. See how far I get. So anybody out there got anything they want me to talk about? Just hit me up on the comments, and I'll try and see what's going on. I don't see any comments. Well, dang it. Let's see. Turn off all these stupid. Oh well. I can't figure it out. It's got the. There they are. Michael LeBron. Jan Winneberg. Man, Jan's doing a heck of a deal on that big eagle build. I'm amazed. Had a little intro thing on there at the beginning with the main viewing screen. That was done by Robbie. Okay, so hopefully I won't kill your name, Perchaluk. If I screwed it up, I can't remember Morton half the time. So thank you, Robbie, for that. He did that for me, and I so much appreciate it. And it looks like Mr. Roy's popped in with us here. Let me bring him in.
Hey, Todd.
Hey, Roy. How you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. I wanted you to talk. I just told him about your little bit about your Royce tie dye sci-fi corner. So I I still didn't realize that you do it twice a week. I don't know why, but
That's
Fridays
okay.
and Sundays. That's crazy. How do you get enough
Yeah,
time to do all that?
yeah. I originally started doing it. It was on Fridays and Sundays, and then I've kind of backed away from it. So it's usually on a Sunday, maybe like once a month now. Because it, to your point, it was just turning into a lot between work and everything else going on in
Right.
life. So it's, as you know, it's not only doing the show and doing the broadcast, it's also doing the research and the information and
Prep work,
coordinating everything.
everything. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
So yeah. With COVID, there was a lot more time, I guess, to say too. So
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
and that
Who wants to wish COVID back though? Not me.
no, definitely not. And that was the whole purpose. That was the whole reason, the inspiration for doing it was just an opportunity to bring people together because of everything that was going on with COVID. I do community theater at Country Gate in Belvedere. So anyway, I wanted to do something that was creative, and I thought it would be kind of cool to do a show like you're doing and
Right.
have different guests, hosts on and just talk about different subjects and what have you. And yeah, it was fun, and the show's just kind of evolved and everything. And it's tough having different people on all the time because everybody else has their schedules and their lives and everything. And
Exactly.
what happened was a friend of mine from my high school days, Ross Amico, who I hadn't literally talked to well, actually I hadn't seen in maybe almost like 33 years at the time, 34 years. We actually had started talking right before COVID because he does radio, and we got in contact and we were talking, and then kind of, you know, things happened and we didn't really get
Right.
the opportunity to get together. And I thought maybe he would like to do, be a host on the show. And then what happened was he came on, and then one show became two, and then became four. And we've been doing it. It'll be 2 years in June that we've been doing it together. But the whole thing started in April of 2020 with the idea of doing it. So anyway,
Yeah. I kind of got my idea from yours. Kind of spawned from that. I mean, I thought it'd be neat to do something like this that covers what the sci-fi stuff that we are actually doing. Yours is covers a lot different stuff than mine, but I kind of spawned mine off of yours. It was pretty cool.
nah, thanks. Yeah, I mean it's nice. It's nice that people are inspired to do it. I mean, my other friends up in Ticonderoga, Mike and Mary Beth, Mike had toyed around about doing something like this maybe about 4 years ago, and he had
Mm-hmm.
talked to Mary Beth about it. And then what happened was he kind of shelved it, and then I was doing it, and then he reached out to me and he said, how would you be cool with me doing something like this? Because the focus of the show that I deal with, Roy's Tie Dye Sci-Fi Corner, deals with specifically 50s, 60s, 70s. Occasionally, I'll get into the 80s. Mike is doing the 80s and 90s and beyond with Mary Beth. So they do that, and they do that on Wednesday nights, and they're going pretty strong too. So it's nice that, we all kind of been doing this type of format, and it brings people together, and you kind of have the time to just kind of forget about real life for a little while and concentrate on different things. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah. I actually I looked up that the Kingdom of Spiders with William Shatner on it. That's an oldie, and that's I couldn't find the actual. I found the show, but it was somebody doing comedian uh, talking during it and everything, so I couldn't enjoy it. But some of the that's an oldie.
Yeah, it's actually from 1977. It was about
Yeah.
maybe 8 years after he did Star Trek, and he was doing a lot of B type movies. He was kind of getting away from the whole Star Trek, Captain Kirk type of format because the show had been canceled, and as far as being typecast and did a lot of William Shatner did a lot of episodic television in the 70s, and then he was also doing game shows. It was a different period for him because of, everything changing in his life from when Star Trek was canceled. And then, of course, as we all know, Star Trek the Motion Picture got the green light in 1978. It was
Yeah.
released in 1979, and then the rest was history with everything with him. But it's crazy to think, though, Todd, that he celebrated his 91st birthday this
Can you
past
believe
Tuesday.
it?
That's
That's nuts.
insane.
That's nuts. Yeah. Um. Oh, let's see. Well, I mean, when William Shatner got out of when he was moving away from Trek, he did T.J. Hooker and all those shows and everything like that, and I was like, man, that guy's you you cannot watch the TV screen and he comes on screen and it's him. If you know anything about Star Trek and William Shatner, he does the same acting. He's got the same acting, everything. It's just personification that he's got. It's I mean, whether he's a cowboy or he's a cop or whatever, he's the same Bill Shatner.
Yeah, he definitely has his acting style that he has, and I think more so now. I think he's become more of a personality than with his acting. But it's interesting because for me personally, I've always enjoyed seeing actors that we've seen in our television shows, whether it be
Mhm.
science fiction or dramas, different genres, and seeing how they perform in other things besides what we've known them for.
Right.
And it's really interesting to watch a lot of his earlier stuff because he did a lot of episodic television in the day, and he was a classically trained Shakespearean actor in Canada, and it's very interesting to see a lot of his earlier works, and that's the beauty of YouTube. I mean, you can go on there and you can dig around and you can see a lot of different things.
Right.
He was on Broadway with The World of Susie Wong. He did that with Frances Nguyen, and she later was also in the classic Trek episode Alan of Troyes. And
Oh yeah.
there's actually, if you go on YouTube, you can actually find a piece of this show that was actually recreated for Ed Sullivan. And they actually did that, and they actually had part of the set because the Ed Sullivan Theater was in New York City,
Wow.
and they actually recreated a part of that where they actually did that, which was really, really cool. So again, it's interesting to see his earlier work because it's now, like I said, over the last X amount of years. I mean, time has been going by. He's more of a personality, but he
Right.
definitely took himself very seriously and definitely had his acting style that we all know from his Star Trek days for sure.
Yeah. And he's was he 91 this year?
Yeah, he's 91.
I mean, he doesn't look 91.
No, no, he doesn't. And I think he's afraid to slow down. I mean, he's involved with so many things. I mean, he's been up to the Star Trek set tours up in Ticonderoga. He's been going up there for the last 4 years on a regular basis. He's going up there at least twice a year. And he's very gracious with the fans. I mean, he definitely addresses them, talks about his
Right.
different things. And I think he's just in a really good place with everything. But again, it's just crazy to think that he's 90 and he went up into space. I mean, how about that? Or at
That
least
is
on the
nice.
outer rim.
Yeah, I saw some people giving him a rough time about it, but you're 90 years old. If you can get up there, why not go? What are you gonna? You gonna have a heart attack while you're up there? Whoop de doo! You're in space.
I got to
That'd
ask you,
be.
Todd, would you do it?
I don't
Would you
know.
go up?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Not yet. No. Maybe when I get a little older and I've got, I probably won't. I'm a big chicken.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it either.
That's got to be. I mean, you got to pass some tests to do that. So
Yeah.
it's not like they didn't make sure he'd be okay going up there. So
No, I'd be afraid. As much as I enjoy everything that's science fiction related,
mm,
whether it be Space 1999, Star Trek, any of that stuff.
right.
my going onto an Eagle or going into a onto the Enterprise will be through a set. That'll be as much of
What
a inside of a spaceship as I'm gonna get.
wouldn't it be cool if somebody would do like they do the Ticonderoga, do Alpha, the moon base Alpha set? I know
That would be
Joe McNally said that. That McNally said that in the comments, but I was thinking, man, that would be cool. But it's not as popular as Star Trek, so. But I mean, you never know. When I first started the props and ships group, I figured, well, I might get. I thought 300 would be the max that people out there that like the same show I did, and here we are at almost 13,000 later.
that's amazing. That's awesome. That is
And
so awesome.
I mean, round two has given us 28 kits or 24 kits. I can't remember which one it is, but it's, I mean, in the 20s now, in the mid 20s. Who'd have thought? Who'd have thought that? And all
Especially
the
from back in the day, Todd. I mean, when those NPC Eagles came out in '75, and then the show got canceled, and then pretty much I remember there was an article, and I think it was in Starlog number 6 when they announced that Space 1999 had been canceled. They said make sure you get your model Eagles because essentially was saying all this stuff was going to dry up, and then it disappeared. And this was what, 1977, and then in 1999 there was the release where we had the Eagle kit, and then they re-released, what was it, Moonbase Alpha,
Moonbase Alpha, and then of course they did the little alien
the
card
alien,
too.
which I never got. I never bought that.
I bought it just because it had Space 1999. They yeah, they got me. I
They
don't
got
remember
you.
this. Maybe it was season 2 because season 2 had some weird shit in it. But I don't remember seeing it, so I went ahead and got it and built it. I've got it now today in my collection, but
That's
um,
cool.
I don't know how many of those 12-inch Eagles from that I went through. It's unreal. Um, I built them back in the 70s when they first came out. Played with them, moved a couple times, lost them, built them again, but then they dried up and I didn't find any more until 1990. It was 1999 when they did the AMT reissue.
Right.
So then I bought, like, I don't know, I went into the model store and bought everything they had, I think. Just I'm not going to go without my Eagles anymore. So, and then from 1999 to 2013, I didn't really see anything, and then I stumbled upon all this online stuff, and I was amazed that there were so many people out there that were into the same thing I was. I had no idea. That's what sparked the props and ships group.
That's so
I think it
awesome.
was Eagle Transporter Forum that
Right.
I got hooked up with, and Gordon and all that stuff, and it went crazy from there. Whew, did it go crazy?
Thank God for the internet. I mean, that's
Yeah,
just a brilliant example of bringing so many people together, just like what you're doing right now with the show. I mean, it allows us to talk to folks that have similar interests, and it's not only, you could say, in your own town, your own state, your own country, but it's people all over the world, all over the globe. It's
yeah,
definitely opened the doors to so many people coming together, and it's something that we really take advantage or take for granted. And if you think about it, back in the day, I mean, if you try to get in contact with somebody, you'd have to pick up the phone, and then you would get hit with a huge phone bill, and on top
right.
of it,
Yeah, yep. That is crazy. I mean, New Year's Eve we were on with people all over the world.
yeah, that was
That
really
was
cool.
nuts. I mean, Australia, the UK, everywhere. I was like, wow. And it was cool. It's pretty cool watching the new year come in on at stages because some there was already New Year's in the UK and we were 5 hours behind them, so it was pretty cool.
Exactly. And then you have folks that are in Australia, and they're 16 hour. Well, at least from where I'm at, I believe they're about 16 hours ahead. So,
Right. So
and they've
they're
already,
already partied out and slept by
yeah,
then.
exactly. So that aspect of it is really, really cool. So yeah, it's very, very positive in regards to everything that's going on with the internet. It's definitely brought things to the next level, and it's really given us a lot of opportunities for things,
Right.
that are going to be coming ahead. So,
It's really, really cool. I mean, we can't. I can't. I mean, look at all the Jamie Anderson stuff that from the Anderson people, 1612, all that stuff. It's crazy. Who'd have thought we'd have all this stuff?
no, never, never. And that's the whole thing too about Space 1999. It's coming up on the 50th anniversary too. I mean, that's something that's huge. I mean,
Yeah, I
right
wonder
now,
what's in store for that one.
I keep saying that I'm hoping that stuff is going to get unearthed and deep in the vaults of ITV, and we're going to find, they're going to find this special material, things that have been lost in regards to deleted
Yeah,
scenes and things that we've heard about, and
they
it'll be
better
like
do
a
something
bonus
different because
surprise.
we've got a shit ton of DVDs and Blu-rays and sets. Seems like every 3 months there's a new set coming out.
No, I just saw that. In fact, I just saw that
Yeah,
posted. Is there new extras on that? Has anybody talked about that, or has
I
anybody
haven't,
received
I
it yet?
haven't, I haven't heard yet what's on it, but I would hope that there's something new on it because I just got the Australian set, so I don't know what to say about all that. I've got enough DVD and Blu-rays to fill up a whole bookshelf. And I don't even. All I do is watch the what was it the when A&E came out with that set. It's got the was that the set that had Sandra on there for the
Message
moon
from
base?
Moonbase Alpha. Yeah,
Yeah, that's cool. I
yeah, I
see.
remember when that came out because they were releasing that set. It was almost in, I'll say, sections. They were doing a few at a time, and then what happened was you eventually got the entire set. And then what they did was they came out with one big set. And then
Right.
what they did was they included the special disc for Message from
That's the
Moonbase
one I got.
Alpha.
Yeah.
Yeah, the mega set,
Now
I think
it's
it was called.
that is cool. They get you though. That's how they get you. They add one more little piece to it, and gotta have a new set. Damn it! Looks
Yeah,
like
it's like
Scott
Star
Anderson.
Wars.
Yeah, looks like we got. Let's see, Oliver Xavier's watching. Um, I said Jan was watching. Mister got to build a full size eagle.
Very cool.
Christian Lancet. Lancet. Hey, don't beat me
Hey,
up over last names.
I'm the king of botching last names, so I know how that is, Todd.
It's cool though. At least there's a lot of people don't realize that I can see some on my YouTube because on my screen right here is the YouTube um, comments that are going on. I believe that's what it is. And no, that's not because it's Facebook users. So it's Facebook then. And if you go in there and you click on, there's a message where I posted I was going to go live. If you click on that link and you allow Facebook to use your name, I can see your name on here, and most of them I can see on here too. I see Warren's out there. He said he was going to call you just a little while ago, and then all of a sudden, boom, you were here.
No, hey Warren, how's it going?
So yeah, I can see a lot of the names. I see the comments up here in my area, but if you don't allow Facebook, then for some reason StreamYard has to get permission to use your name in the comments. So
Gotcha. Yeah, and I can't. I'm I'm on my iPhone because I'm actually. This was kind of a last minute thing, and thanks for having me on,
yeah,
Todd.
yeah.
Because I was
Sorry
I
about
was
that.
driving. And Todd texted me, and he just mentioned, he said, if I was going to be busy. And then I thought, let me pull over, and I pulled out the iPhone. And again, here's another brilliant example of how we have technology that allows things to happen. But I'm so used to looking at the comments coming in when I'm doing the show, that I'm not able to see, or at least I don't know, maybe I can see the comments, but it's on my iPhone. Maybe that's why I can't see them. But
Well,
hi everyone.
yeah, well, it could be that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's the reason, but anyway, there's Roy's tie dye sci-fi corner. That's your,
My
I think that's your,
logo.
yeah, your logo thing. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure I got you in there. We're kind of doing plugs for each other and trying to get everything going up higher. And I appreciate everybody that answered to my plea for more subscribers on the YouTube. I think I'm up to nearly 620 now from 589, so that's working.
That's
If you get
awesome.
to 1,000, you can. It gives you a better. You can use your platform to do different things. You can even earn money through it, which that's not my ultimate thing. But if I do earn money, that'd be awesome. I would use it probably towards like Wonderfest trips and all that good stuff. So appreciate all the help there. We need to get Roy on YouTube, that way he can start doing the same thing
Yeah,
with
no,
his.
I appreciate the plug too, Todd. Thanks. And yeah, definitely get the word out and let everybody know about that. And yeah, Roy's Side Eye Sci-Fi Corner is on 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time now, and it's on Friday nights, and again it's 7 p.m. And then some Sundays it we
Think I got.
broadcast, but it's right now it's only on Facebook though, and I love that you're able to stream on Facebook as well as YouTube, Todd. That's brilliant that you can do
So
that.
is Fridays your main day?
Fridays is my main day, yeah.
Okay, so I need to change that. So Fridays.
And then alternating Sundays, but it's usually it's something that's special that's planned. So
I don't. Yeah, like I said, I don't know how you, if you do it twice a week, I'd be like, that's a hell of a feat there. I put your information, how to click on you in the comments too, so people can go up to the comments and see, um, click on it, and it's right here. Let's see, there it shows up just like that.
oh, okay, cool. Thanks again for that. Much
Yep.
appreciated. And I'll definitely do the same when I'm broadcasting the show.
I was gonna watch your show Friday, but Friday I had a really, really, really bad migraine. I did not go to work. I it took till like 4 o'clock in the afternoon for me to even get out of bed. So I don't usually get headaches like that. If I do get a headache in the morning, I can usually just take something and get through get through getting ready for work and everything, and maybe going a little bit late. But man, that day it was rough. It
No,
was
there's
really
nothing like a
rough.
migraine that'll really derail you. And unless you really experience those, a lot of times people that have never had them really can't identify with them, but
Right.
they can be debilitating. It's just there's nothing fun about it. And what's really scary is sometimes they last several days, and it's almost like you're coming out of a fog when you're coming out of it. And it's just
It's
it's
crazy. I don't
I
know what's
remember the
going on.
first
What is going on here?
technical issues.
Well, my iPad went all. It's like I don't use it very often, so I don't know. I clicked on Messenger, and it's all weird looking. Somebody just messaged me. I think it was Warren, but for some reason I'm not seeing it. It's weird. Well, there's some stuff. Huh. Oh well, I'll figure it out later. So let me ask you too. Have you read the book from David Hirsch and Robert Wood?
I have started it. My goal was to actually have that completed within like 2 days, but unfortunately, just between things with work and doing stuff, family stuff, it's just I haven't had the opportunity to complete it. But my goal is to definitely have it finished this week. But I'm probably about a third of the way through, and I have really been looking forward to this. And they knocked it out of the park, and
Yeah.
it's really cool, and it's just really giving a lot of insight into how things began and how they were evolving and the direction of everything was going on. In fact, Bob, I know that you had Bob and David on just a couple weeks ago. I actually had them on the show, and also
Right.
whatchamacallit, Chris Penfold. I was fortunate enough to have him on for about maybe half an hour and just talking about that. And, you know, it's great because they're really great guys. And Chris is very humble because it's the fans, it's all of us that is keeping this alive. And Space 1999, the flame burning with this, and the care that David Hirsch has taken with the book, as well as Bob. I mean, you've got two people that are really very, been involved with Space 1999, have been fans of the show just like us,
Right.
and have the opportunity to share the information that they have gotten. David working at Starlog back in the day, we all loved his,
Yeah.
the space
What a
report. I
cool
mean,
job that had to be.
yeah, I mean, and the fact that he had access to the vaults of ITC and he could get information, and then sadly, with everything happening with Martin Landau passing away, but fortunately, Bob was able to acquire information from the estate, that he got after, when they had the estate sale, and then for them to pull their information together as a single resource and to have it come out for this book. I mean, it's just a win-win for, all of us as fans of the series. And the
Right.
thing is, if you do read the book, just to put this out there, make sure whether you purchase it on Amazon or if you go through Talos, definitely take the time to give these guys a really positive review. And it it's a lot to do something like this, and it's definitely a labor of love, and it definitely comes through with that. So it's just really important, and who knows? I mean, there might be other things that'll be coming down the pike from them, but it's definitely warranting a review of this material because
Yeah.
it's very special. Now,
Yeah. I love
have you?
reviewing. I haven't even gotten through a quarter of it yet. So, and I'm
Oh, okay.
just loving it. I can't, I don't read books, honestly. So for me to read this book, those guys, those guys got it going on because I will skim through something, but this one I got to read all the words. I mean, I just hate reading, but they're not gonna make a movie out of this, so I got to read it. It's already been done. So uh, yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to getting through it, but I can only read for 30 minutes or so, and then I'm like, okay, I got to stop for a minute.
No, I understand that, but you're enjoying it though, right, Todd?
Oh yeah, man, they did. I kind of skimmed forward. See, that's a bad thing. I'll skim forward and look at things, and I'll be all right back to the beginning because I'm just killing myself. But
Yeah,
there's a lot of info in there, and there's a lot of information that I didn't know, and they'll everybody that reads will find something that they didn't either remember or didn't even know at all.
right.
Guarantee it.
And you bring up a good point because I tend to do that too. A lot of times I'll skim forward, and I almost caught myself starting to do that, and I pretty much disciplined myself and said, no, I don't want to shortchange the book, and I don't want to shortchange myself because there's so much information in there. And
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of stories that we've all heard over the years just because of being fans of the series, but there's information in this book that has never been released, or if there's potentially sections of it or little bits. So it would be an injustice to us personally as readers not to take the time to go through it and just really enjoy it. And I
Right.
think you have the best, the mindset too, because if you're you know that you're only disciplining yourself for maybe like a half an hour or an
Yeah,
hour, and
yeah,
then you're going to go back to it, because then that way you're going to enjoy it too. So that's the
exactly,
important thing as well.
exactly. Yeah, if and it's the number one seller on Amazon right now. Can you believe that?
Yeah, that
I mean,
that's so awesome.
those guys just got to be ecstatic right now.
Well, I saw one of Bob's posts, and he was saying it's almost like the ultimate dream to be getting a notification for Amazon to check out this book, and this book is something that you had been a part of as far as the writing of. So I
Right,
mean, how big of a compliment is that? I mean, that's
huge,
pretty cool. And I'm
huge,
sure
and
the
then
same thing happened for David too.
yeah, yeah. I met both guys in at the conventions that you and I and Gordon did, and which was I'll never forget those. Like I said, I just got in 2013. I was really just getting into seeing how much Space 1999 was out there and people and everything, and then so 4 years later, I was helping run a convention. Wow. I mean, how does that happen? How does that happen? I mean, and then in 13, so then 15, we got the 22-inch Eagle. Again, I got to hold the very first production model, and it's been a lot of firsts for me in this deal. I mean, so many people I've met at Wonderfest. Oh my God, all over the world too. I mean, I haven't met anybody. Um, oh, let's see. Nope, I haven't met anybody that I didn't really like. There's a couple of people that have just given me a hard time over the years, but it is what it is. Some people just somebody don't like being nice to everybody. I guess I don't know, but as far as everybody else, um, it's been a blessing.
Yeah, it's I mean, we are definitely a special group of individuals, and it's definitely
Special,
very very family orientated. And yeah, there's everything has its moments, but I think that overall it's just a really really positive environment. And the fact that we are privileged to have so many accesses with different things, and like you said, I mean, we did the convention in 17 and 19, being able to go to conventions. I mean, in 2014 I was in Peterborough. That was an amazing experience, and that's where I first met Gordon. Warren was him and I were roommates in 14 at that convention, and I got to see Eagle 1. I got to see Eagle 2. I mean, the original, the studio models there. Now, I know Gordon actually held it. That's not something that I did with any of those, but just being by it and just having the opportunity to take really, really cool pictures of those studio models, and
right?
seeing a lot of the costumes firsthand, because in the US I was privileged to go to the Breakaway convention in 1999, and they had a lot of the original uniforms there as well, the costumes.
Right.
And it was just a really really great experience overall. And it's just it blows my mind the amount of time that has gone by with everything. I mean, the fact that the series started production in November of 73, and here we are now, it's 2022. It's just really crazy.
Right.
And
Yeah.
there's there's a lot of great stuff that's going to be coming up. I mean, the convention that was planned for this year has been put off, and it's going to be in 2024, and that's going to be something that'll be amazing. And again,
Yeah.
that'll be the 50th anniversary. Every
Might see Warren here in a few minutes. I sent him a request to join us so he can give a little info out on the 2024 thing here.
Yeah,
Coming up.
absolutely. In
So,
fact, when you were talking about, the Sunday, doing the Sunday shows, is when I had David and Chris and Bob on. That was one of the shows, and then Warren was on with Suzanne Peterson, who we know and we all love. She was
Oh yeah, she's
Barbara's.
awesome, beautiful lady.
Yeah,
Oh, speaking of the
yeah.
devil, oof, it's alive.
Hey,
Good morning.
there he is. Hey,
How's
Warren.
everybody
Good
doing?
morning. I'm just rolling out of bed here, and yeah, it was funny. Roy, I missed your call this morning, and I was just looking to dial back in, but I figured I'd jump on the computer and see what was happening. And there's Todd show, and boom, there you were.
Yeah,
So yeah, awesome, awesome. Gotta love things. I jumped on just when you guys were talking about the New Year's call and how much fun that was. And yes, thank you both to Roy and Todd. Oh,
that
my
was
kitty is
fun.
getting into something. But what a great evening that was. Boy, and like Todd said, just to ring in the New Year in all those different time zones was just phenomenal.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you to you, Warren, for organizing it. That was a lot of fun. I mean, we got
Oh, it
to
was my pleasure. Yeah, it was great.
see a lot
Yeah,
of fans from all over, and just have a really nice time with everything. So it was cool. It was really, really good.
Yeah, no, awesome, awesome, and yeah, boy, um, to touch on yeah, you know what, and I just put it in the comments before I jumped on here. I think the important takeaway, you know what, down through the years we've all been through it. We've been up one side and down the other, but the important takeaway is, hey, let's be the bigger person and not hold grudges, right? I think that is key here, and that's what I've really taken to heart, especially the last couple of years through pandemic and watching the world change. It's just life's too short, right?
too short.
So yeah,
It
yeah,
is.
let's honestly just put the petty stuff behind us and work together towards
Hmm.
bigger and better things.
Looks like we got. Let's see. I think I said there's Dennis Chevalier. Dennis
Hey,
was at the
Dennis.
convention last time we had one. Timothy
Yeah.
Peterson is watching. Mark Myers. We got a pretty good group out here.
Nice. Hey, Mark.
Tony's
Hey, Tim.
Tony's Workbench said that he finally got the Super Space Theater Blu-ray set, and he said he watched everything through. And Space 1999 never looked better than a 16:9 widescreen. I
Nice.
can't get mine to work on my Blu-ray player, and it's
Hmm.
supposed to be region free, but I don't know what's going on with it. So I'll be watching it as soon as I get that figured out.
Yeah, and I caught something else earlier, guys. Was there another new set announced?
There
Yeah,
was
yeah. I can't remember where it's. Is it from IT or is it from
a network. I think it's from Network, isn't
network?
it?
Network, yeah.
Okay, so another UK release.
Another whole set. I'm
Huh,
not
yeah.
sure. I think
Oh, you know what? I bet you it's the same thing, probably packaged together with the movies now. Maybe.
I don't
could
know.
be.
That could be. Could
I don't
Hmm.
be.
know. Warren or Gordon said something about it last show, but and I meant to look it up before this one, so I had more information on it, but I forgot.
That's okay.
Pretty crazy.
No, I'm
That's
really
okay.
curious about that because I mean, the Australian release, I was hearing a lot of good things about that, and I haven't gotten that yet. But also now that they also have this UK release, I'm wondering if there's some extras that are in there that we haven't been privileged to yet. And then
That
that
could
makes me
be.
wonder if they're going to move forward with something for the again for the 50th, if that's something that'll be coming down.
Yeah,
I don't know
it'd
if it
be
was
check
is it
out.
4K? Is it 4K, Todd, or we don't know?
It could be, but I don't. I
Hmm.
mean, man, can you imagine Space 1999 in 4K? Holy crap,
Wow.
that would be crazy. Oh, I'm finally seeing my. All right, so
Well, I hope they do like even Tim Mallet when he was on your show, Roy. I was picking his brain a little bit as to how they struck the widescreen prints. And one of the things that Tim said right off the bat is that year one is already done, and it has been done for several years. Somebody in the UK did it for broadcast purposes in the UK. So that being said, there wouldn't be a lot. to go through year 2 and then do a nice set of everything in widescreen. I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
would
that would
be,
be awesome.
pretty good. But I don't know. Would you see more of the strings and the stuff like that if once it gets that high
I'm sure
definition?
you, I'm sure you would. And I remember Brian, because I was saying to Todd earlier, when he was on the show, and this was back in June of 2020, he was even referencing that, and I think he's probably referenced it with you too as well, Todd, that
Mm,
how the show was not. It's almost like it's a form of cheating because the show was not designed to be shown like that. But as fans, none of us are going to hold it against them because it's just the clarity will be so amazing. But it definitely, even with Blu-ray, it gives away things that we were not meant to see just because the clarity is so crystal clear, and
right.
it'll 4K will take it to the next level. But in the scheme of things, I think everybody would be okay with it.
It's part of
Yeah.
the charm, I think. I mean, because
Yeah.
obviously back in the day, yeah, there were limitations and there was just things that they didn't anticipate. And you know what? It's not just space. It wasn't just shows in the 70s, but well into the 80s. I'll give you another example here that we're all familiar with. Star Trek: The Next Generation. The way they designed those sets for the TV resolution at the time
Hmm.
had to be when they did that first movie called Generations. If you'll notice, and it's beautiful, beautiful, the cinematographer, but the lighting is vastly different than on the TV series, and they had to
Yes.
do that in order to hide the limitations of the set building, of things like that for
Oh
that.
yeah. I didn't think about that. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense, Warren, because it was so dark on that
It
set.
was,
I
it
mean,
was.
and it was lit so differently. I'm not a huge fan of that movie. I mean, I always said I enjoyed the beginning part because they deal with the Enterprise B being launched, and then there's the end piece of it where Picard is with Kirk. But my biggest gripe about that movie was you had 7 seasons of that cast, which were incredible. I mean, it started out there was a lot of controversy whether or not Star Trek: The Next Generation was going to be successful because it was in the shadows of classic Star Trek, and you had it essentially making its own way where it was being developed and becoming its own. And the first season, they had some good episodes in there, but they had some episodes that were not so good. The second
Right.
season suffered from the writer's strike of 1988 that was going on. They were recycling scripts, I believe. They took some that were from the Star Trek series that was going to be taking place, Star Trek Phase 2. The one that immediately comes to mind is The Child, where Deanna gets impregnated by the alien life form,
Oh
and then
yeah. I
she gives
remember that
birth. But then it got into its third season and it really started to take off. And the one episode that comes to mind immediately, and there were a lot of, I mean, even Q Who, which was in the second season, was incredible. But by the third season, when they had that cliffhanger with the Best of Both Worlds Part One, and it was June 16th, 1990, when I saw that, and I remember being glued to that set, and it was just like wow, and we got to wait all summer to
one.
see
Yeah.
what happens with the card. And it was, you didn't want to wish the summer away because it's not something you want to do. But when that part 2 came on, everybody, it was almost like everybody was just waiting to see what was going to happen with all of that. And Star Trek: Next Generation was in its fourth season, and then they exceeded the 79 episodes, and I believe episode 80 was the one with Tasha Yar's sister, and I think it was called Legacy. And it just took off. But my whole point of all of that is you had all of that, the relationships that were developed, the characterization that was developed, the bonds that were developed. It was an ensemble cast. And then when they did Star Trek Generations, it's like they were up here and then they did that movie and it just fell. And it was, to me, it was such a letdown. They should have had all good things, part one and part two. That could have been the Star Trek Next Generation movie, in my
Right.
opinion. They should have saved it for that because it I don't know. I just felt it was an injustice.
I think it was sort of a last minute
Agreed.
thought. I think that the movie was greenlit at like after the series was basically wrapping, not quite wrapped, and then they sort of tacked it on because they knew that they'd have access to those sets and they wanted to get
Right.
something out before they tore the sets down.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
I think there was a little bit of a rush there as well. But
Yeah. Because you're right, Warren. Because they went right into it. They didn't even halt.
nope.
They continued filming right into that. But to me, they should have had a better storyline. It was a letdown, and they were trying to do the bridging the original cast with the next generation cast, which was fine. But I just think that they should have come back with a stronger story and just not segregated the uh, the next generation cast the way they did, because I think it just was kind of an injustice. But then we got First Contact, which was they knocked it out of the park. So, in my opinion, anyway. Cast the way they did, because I think it just was kind of an injustice. Uh oh.
Yeah.
And they're still touching on threads of Best of Both Worlds and First Contact in the new Picard series. I'm not sure if you guys are up to date, but it's a vast improvement over season 1 of Picard. I'll tell you that. I'm quite enjoying it.
Todd, have you watched Picard?
Yes, I'm all into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate. I'm one of those guys that wants to let the series finish and then binge watch it, but I can't. Every damn week it says there's a new episode of Picard ready. Shit, I gotta watch it.
Yeah. It's been really good. Did you guys catch the cool cameo in this latest episode? No spoilers. In the first 15 minutes.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
chuckled when I saw that boy.
He's gonna be up at the Star. He's gonna be up at. They just announced he's gonna be up at the Star Trek original series set tour. James
Yeah,
just
I
announced
saw
it.
that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe Todd isn't caught up yet, so no spoilers.
Maybe not. Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
No, definitely check it out, Todd.
I also watch Discovery. I'm into Discovery too. I don't know why.
Do you enjoy
I don't know why.
Huh?
Are you enjoying Discovery?
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, nothing will ever top the original series in any of the movies that they did with the original series. But I'm good with the other stuff. Yeah, Discovery's not too bad. I like the storyline. I just watched I guess it was a season finale last night.
I'm really looking forward to Strange New Worlds. I think they've they're gonna hit a really cool vibe that we haven't seen for a while. And if you watch the new trailer, just with Pike in general and his background, his backstory of coming from Earth. Where was he from? Mojave. And being sort of that cowboy. I just love the way they're tapping into things from The Cage, because The Cage is one of my all-time favorite stories. And I think they're really going to knock it out of the park with that one, hopefully.
Yeah, I kind of fell off with Star Trek Discovery. Where I stopped watching it was the last episode of the second season, and then that was with Anson Mount as Pike, and then they went into the future, and that's pretty much where I stopped. I have to agree, Strange New Worlds, I'm very much looking forward to. That's going to be premiering in May of this year, and I believe it's already been commissioned for a second season already, and it hasn't. It's sort of like with Picard, it had not even premiered, and they commissioned it.
Right.
I think Anson Mount is very. I had the opportunity to meet him because he was up at the Star Trek series set tour in 2018, and he actually had just finished filming the last episode, I think, of Discovery when he was there, and very approachable. He's very respectful of the character. Chris Hunter, who's Jeffrey Hunter's son,
Was
also
there. That's so
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, and he's very
Amazing.
supportive. He's endorsing Anson Mount, and it's. I think it's going to be good. And the other thing they're getting away from, and it's interesting too, because back in the day there really were not a lot of story arcs when we would watch classic Trek or Space 1999. What I think I remember, there was maybe one or two episodes where they would do like a reference from a previous episode, and it maybe only happened once or twice. And when they did it, it was like, oh wow, that's so cool. They're referencing a past episode. But now it's kind of been the thing where you have all these story arcs, and from my understanding, Strange New Worlds is going to be independent. It's going to be a story that takes place, and it's going to be from beginning to end. Not to say that they won't maybe do a cliffhanger for this, for the season or what have you, but it's
Right.
just going to be pretty much concentrating on that 47 minutes of episode, and it's going to start, it's going to have a middle, and it's going to end. And that's what I had heard, at least some probably with over the course of maybe the last year or so. So I think they're really trying to go back to the original format and pay respect to that type of delivery.
Yeah. All these runoffs and spin-offs and everything, it's been hard to keep up with them, but there's been a few I liked. So
Yeah, there's a lot of material out there. It's again, it's just it's a fun time for us as fans of these shows, and it's crazy to think that classic Star Trek has exceeded 50. I mean, we're at the 55 year mark, 56-year mark. I always joke about it because when Star Trek premiered was the year I was born in 1966. So, and it's kind of like the Super Bowl, the same thing.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gary, I see Gary Reynolds got to see the Moonbase Alpha, the one that James Winch owns. It's in that museum at Milton
Milton
Keynes.
Keynes. Nice.
Oh,
So
very cool.
speaking of that, and it's in the UK, Warren, you might as well throw in there and give everybody an update on your postponed for the convention
Yeah, for
in
sure.
London.
I'd love to. Yeah, yeah. If there's can I have 30 seconds, maybe a minute and a half, just to get another cup of coffee?
Absolutely, yeah. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
sure. I'll go do that, and then I'll be right back.
Okay.
Can
Um,
I would like to ask Gary, how was that? Must have been amazing to see, and the fact that this museum is actually in existence there. That's so cool. That's something that fans can look forward to going to see if they're there.
yeah, that's a when we do when that convention does happen in London, I'm going to make sure I visit that and a few other things. Get with some people that I really want to visit with while I'm there. So I'm probably going to have a little bit of an extended stay, but I definitely want to see that because that's a pretty good little Space 1999 setup he's got there.
Right.
James has got quite a bit of the original the models that were used in the show, so that'd be an interesting visit.
Yeah, and James is just such a nice guy. I mean,
Oh yeah,
he was. I mean, when we did the convention, Todd, in 19. I mean, the fact that he brought the spacesuit and
yeah,
he allowed everybody to put on the helmet. I mean, that's something that unfortunately probably won't be happening. I wouldn't think again, with everything that's going on with, what we've
yeah.
been through with COVID and everything. But the fact that we actually, us and other folks, were able to have that experience, can you imagine not only wearing that, but wearing that for an extended period of time and just doing different scenes and having to, act in that is pretty is something when you think
That
about it, because
is
that
pretty crazy.
in 1976 especially, they were actually having that summer heat wave in the UK from different things that I've heard, and I think they actually had problems with the air conditioning and as well. So you're in
That
this spacesuit that's hot as it is, and then on top of it, there's no extra ventilation going on because those stripes on the back of the helmet are just that. They're stripes, they're not vents, so there's no
right.
extra air coming through.
Yeah, when I put it on, I was pretty. I understood that those guys probably had to wear those things, off and on during the show, trying doing your. That had to be a little rough to breathe inside them things once in a while. So no wonder they were popping the face part up once in a while.
Right. And then the other thing too is what we didn't see as viewers when we were watching, but if you look closely, and there's like believe like some publicity shots, they actually had almost like I'll say like a hoodie that came over their face, because what would happen is if they didn't have that,
It
they
would
would
move
be
around.
essentially sweating and it would move around, and then their hair would be in their face. So it looks like they're only just putting the helmet on, but in actuality, what they were doing is they actually had the special hood that was on just to cover them, and it would just expose their face, so it would almost
Yeah.
help to keep, the sweat in. But unfortunately, that had to be really hot as well too.
I can't even imagine ever being able to put that helmet on and get pictures. So I've got some really good pictures of all of us. Everybody that got to put the helmet on, I kind of got pictures from each person's thing. So
Oh,
and
that's really cool.
holding the stun gun that he brought along with him, the vacuum formed one that they used you know for the show. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Had a
Very,
good
very cool.
had a very good time, and it'll be something I'll remember for a long time.
Yeah, definitely.
Looks like Dave Howard, Martin Ben, Nick McCarty, Simon Mitchell have all joined us. Hi guys.
Hey guys.
We're just having a little general discussion about everything. 1999, we did Trek, all this good stuff. And Warren's getting ready to tell us what's going on with the postponed convention in London.
Yeah, for sure. And by the way, Todd, thanks for having me on. This is my first time, and it's a pleasure to be here.
No problem. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? Because this is a general sci-fi, we were just on the Trek topic so much. I wanted to mention one other thing very exciting coming out: the new Star Trek: The Motion Picture restoration.
Yeah.
In a couple weeks on April 5th on First Contact Day, and that's of course a famous project going back 20 years with director Robert Wise, and it's really nice to see that those old classic pictures are getting the restoration treatment for today's technology and 4K and things like that. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. It's going to be pretty. That's one of my favorite. I went to see that in the movie theaters when it first came on. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, Darren
Yeah, you walk
Dockerman
out there with tears in your eyes.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Darren Dockerman is actually he's a big part of that process, and he actually has been up to the original series set tour, and yeah, it's going to be amazing. And yeah, I remember, Todd, it was funny too because I wanted to see that movie when it was released, and I believe it was the 7th of December in '79, and it was a Friday, and I was sick, and I was out of school, and I didn't get to see it until the following Saturday. But it was amazing to see. But and the funny thing is too, and this is something that I always talk about, it was only 10 years that classic Trek had been off the air, or 10 and a half years, we'll say, showing off in June of '69, and it was December of '79 when the movie was released. And if you think about it, it's 10 years. What is 10 years? I mean, we think about what happened for us over the last 10 years, how much has happened in between that. And then it seemed like a lifetime, but think of our ages. I mean,
Yeah.
only being around like 13 years old, that was like our existence.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm replying to some stuff on here. Martin Ben said the network release has both the season episodes and movies on them.
Okay.
Oh.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. So it's everything packaged together. Yeah.
Very cool.
Big bundle.
Yeah. Well, let's milk it a little more.
I don't know if I can afford any more DVDs and
Yeah.
they're everywhere.
Yeah, listen, and there's one other topic. So we'll talk some convention stuff. Thanks for the opportunity. And but afterwards, have you guys talked Star Wars yet?
Not yet.
Okay,
Not yet.
so let's circle back to that at the end because there's some exciting things happening on with that franchise as well over the next few months.
Cool.
If we're okay for time, I'm good here. I decided to finally take a day off from my new job, so I'm just relaxing.
Yeah, I usually try to get it 2 hours in. So we got another 50 minutes.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Well, awesome. So yeah, I mean, with all things London, of course, I mean, that's the word went out there a few weeks back that we've unfortunately had to push things back to 2024. With the situation, the world crisis is aside, I mean, we just felt that that was hands down not only the smartest course of action, in regards to not only the attendees but the celebrities in attendance, um, and just general, just people not being ready, like the world literally ground to a halt over these last 2 years. And like even Todd, you were saying to me the other day that you were sort of glad, because you hadn't even gotten around to getting your passport yet, and things like
Right.
that, right? People just are 2022 crept up on us, and we were all just sort of stuck in this state of flux, if you will. And it's just, I think it's going to take a couple more years to really see the wheels grind back up to normalcy. So yeah, unfortunately, we've pushed that back now in the interim. So we'll circle back to that in a couple minutes. But we've left now a couple of voids in the timeline, if you will. So obviously, for this year, people have already probably noticed that we're going to do another virtual event after the huge success of last year. But we're going to spin this in such a way, we're going to really, I'd like to focus a little more on the interactivity of the fans. And we were just talking about that Zoom event we had on New Year's. That was sort of an experiment there, and it went over so well that so we're going to hold a 2-day event. We're going to hold it over a Saturday, Sunday, but then in the evening, on the Saturday evening, so we're going to run the event on StreamYard again, like we did last year, which Todd is using here today. It's a really slick platform, and you can stream it to several outlets. It worked great because everybody who was in the group last year could view it on Facebook, okay, and then comment, of course, and we can see and respond to the comments. We can pull the comments up like Todd has done here today.
Yep.
So, but then on the Saturday evening, we're going to flip over to Zoom, because I feel Zoom is the better platform to really involve everybody. And we're basically going to have an after party, just like we would if we were in person. So it's going to be a 2-day, a weekend event, with a Saturday night Zoom after party where everybody can get together and interact and share their experiences and comment and raise a glass and see everybody, right? And that's because that's a very important part of the cons as well, right? Of course, it's always interesting seeing all of our favorite celebrities, but for many years it has been family oriented, and it's a family reunion when everybody gets together at these events as well. So I figured we'd sort of spin that angle to try and incorporate more of the fans this time out. So we're going to work with, of course, Roy. I'm sure you're going to be willing to help out again. Roy did such an awesome job last year, along with Bob Wood. I mean, I can't thank Bob enough for his efforts. And the two of them just sat there, and it was literally, I was talking to Bob the other night, it was a marathon. It was 8 hours, start to finish. We had a couple little glitches, but I mean, I think for the most part, it ran very smoothly, and so we're very proud of the results. And then as well, Todd is going to be helping us out this year. And so we're going to sort of split things off and have a lot of the celebrities taking place on the Sunday again, but we're going to dedicate the entire first day to the people behind the scenes, the artists, the creators, visual effects people, of course, and modelers and collectors of these original pieces that we're all, that are also near and dear to us. So we're going to be having that sort of expo on the Saturday, along with Todd's help, and bring some very exciting people together for that. And yeah, I think it'll come together with no problem this year. And then that's covering this year, and then next year in 2023, we've still got a little void there before we get to 2024. So we're gonna hold a small North American event, and this is something that sort of has been in the works in various incarnations for a few years now, and it's essentially a relaxicon style of event. So not necessarily any programming or agenda per se or celebrities, but it'll focus on those aforementioned family aspects of everybody getting together and traveling and meeting in a single place. And I'm happy, really proud to be holding this in nearby, to me anyway, Calgary, Alberta, Canada, which is very close to world famous Banff. about 45 minutes away. So we're looking at making a day trip out to Banff, where they hold a variety of famous film festivals and things like that in the heart of the Rocky Mountains, and maybe a day trip out to. There are a lot of Star Trek fans in this community, so about 45 minutes the other direction of Calgary is a small little town called Vulcan, Alberta, and they of course, have capitalized on that these last few years and built their entire town around a Star Trek theme. It's really something to see and discover, and they of course hold an annual event there. But it's they've done quite well with their name and reputation, and it's everything from as you drive around town. Um,
Both.
yeah. Not only the entire visitor center is Star Trek themed, but as you drive around town, there's various plaques and like they've had many famous people down through the years. Like probably the most famous was when Leonard Nimoy visited, right? So there's an entire plaque and a statue of Leonard Nimoy, and but even like the street signs around town and the street lights, everything is a Star Trek theme. Like if you look up at a street lamp, at the very top of it is a little Enterprise on each street lamp. It's really
Oh yeah.
yeah. So it's
Wow.
really an interesting little tour if you've never been there. And then of course greeting you as you come into the town is a big like a 30-foot Enterprise up on this
I've
uh,
seen
uh,
that.
concrete slab. So yeah, lots of photo opportunities for sure in and around Vulcan. So yeah, so that's sort of the idea for next year is and I know there'll be a lot of people excited. In my years of doing the convention circuit before things sort of went away, Calgary was always my largest expo, and it was known for being probably the third largest in North America after
Yeah.
San Diego and New York. And so it was drawn over 100,000 people, which in some cases is more people than ever went to the famous Calgary Stampede. So it was a big event, and then of course this sort of just grew out of talking to Bob, and Darren Peters of course lives there, and so we were always sort of we'd get together every year and say, hey, maybe we should try and plan something around Calgary, and see about bringing up a few people. Obviously the plus there with Darren Peters' collection is that he's got a fantastic collection of original pieces, including the third 44-inch filming replica, Eagle 3, as it's known. So hopefully we can all work with Darren to coordinate a few little tours of his workshop as well. He's got close to 20 original pieces, so it's not a meek collection by any means. He's
Right.
really built it up over the years, and it would be interesting for a lot of people to see and experience his workshop as well. So
Yeah. I know. I know you. There was some talk of wanting to do that this year, but yeah, like you and I talked about the other day, there's just no way people could make
I
that quick of
I
a turnaround.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
appreciate Darren. Darren was really excited when I talked to him about it, and I appreciate his enthusiasm for sure. But I think this year, and that ties it back into why we decided to delay London, is just the world situation and people not quite being ready yet. I wish them all the best, but ultimately into next year, I think we'll be in a much better position, and especially for the people in North America. You know what? I mean, I've already heard from people over in the UK and across the pond that they're excited to come to Calgary and Banff, and
Mhm.
everybody's welcome for sure. But this was just sort of, with the delays now. This is the second delay. I was trying to come up with a way of maybe even just given the opportunity to some people in North America who maybe aren't going to be ready to go to the UK next year or in 24, right?
Right.
Sort of trying to present something to everybody, considering the world situation and hesitations that people may have. So that's what we've got on the pipe. And then as we move into 24, then so it's going to be sometime in 2024. We haven't quite set the date yet. Of course, that'll be dependent on certain situations. But once we get there, I've given everybody's assurance that, and the reason I haven't announced the date yet is that I don't want to do it again a third time and then have to delay. So ultimately, I'm trying to reassure people that once the date is announced, the event will be a go no matter what. There's going to be no delays beyond that. And how I'm going to ensure that is I will be partnering, and we will be. I mean, we're all going to work on this together, including yourselves. We're going to partner with some people in the UK who will assure that the event goes off. So I'm going to make that promise to the UK people who have been so patient and diligent these last 5 years now as well. So essentially, we will have people on the ground to ensure that the event takes place, even if the three of us and people from North America are prevented from attending, if that makes
Right.
sense. So again,
That's
I've
good.
tried to sort of calculate all eventualities and scenarios, and I think that's the best way is to have those people over there ready to go. We're going to have the North American event in case we still can't go, but so I've sort of tried to cover all the bases here with things, and we're very hopeful. We're very pleased. I think overall, I mean, it was a little bit of a letdown this year again, as it was to me and everybody involved in the planning. But now that the initial shock is out of the way, and I think with those extra little curricular things in the interim to look forward to, we're gonna pull off some cool and exciting things yet. So thank you to everybody for understanding and your patience and support of everything we've done, and that includes the virtual. Like I said, that was a an experiment on a grand proportion, but I think we pulled it off, and I think that's something that we proved more than anything else. If these can always be held. I mean, the way the world changed and the way everything just automatically flipped to a virtual environment. This is something that we can even plan on a semi-regular basis. That it doesn't have to be me or us. I mean, I encourage anybody to take up the reins. It's easy enough to throw together. Maybe in the off times, in the off seasons, or if we get back to conventions every 2 years, 3 years, why couldn't we hold a virtual one every year? Easy,
True.
easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Make it a little easier for the elderly um, actors too.
Yep. We
Right.
had
As
no,
far as
and that's
traveling and everything.
yeah, no, for sure. And StreamYard in general, and Todd can attest to this. I mean, that's why I did my research going into it, and just sort of felt that StreamYard was probably going to be for not only attendees and us as the hosts and just coordinating things in the background producing, but
Mhm.
the celebrities as well. It's just, I mean, as you know, Todd, it's you email out a quick link, you click on it, boom, and you're in, right? Simple.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, and I'm broadcasting on 6 Facebook groups and a YouTube at the same
pages.
time. So
Yeah, very
Yeah,
versatile.
that's very impressive, and that's something that with with Zoom I'm not able to do. I mean, it gives you the opportunity to either select if you want to broadcast from Facebook or if you want to broadcast um from YouTube, but to do them simultaneously, it doesn't give you that. So that's and Warren, you've been talking about StreamYard for a long time now, and then Todd, you've been utilizing it and you've been talking about it as well. So
I got
I think
turned on to it by Jamie Hood. He uses it for his little thing he does for his comic books. And
okay.
Yeah.
once you learn all this stuff, you can. Now, usually when I'm on doing this stuff, Gordon helps me with questions and who's watching and all that stuff. So if you see me looking down, I'm not paying. It's not because I'm not paying attention. I'm writing things down. I'm also seeing, like right now, we got Mark Rosenborough. We have Dave Howard, Frida Verdebeene.
Mm.
For how do you say her last name, Roy?
Verbanen.
That's
Yeah,
her.
Yeah.
She's
you got it.
awesome. I got to meet her at the con too. Bonner Bryce, Martin Ben says a virtual mini con sounds great. So my eyes are on 1, 2, 3, 4 different screens. Plus, I'm taking notes on things I
Yeah,
want to.
no, I understand that pain.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun when then you have and everybody that usually tunes into the show that watches when
So
I'm
believe it or
broadcasting. I have
not,
these technical difficulties.
yeah, believe it or not, I go back and I rewatch the show because anytime I got guests, I don't catch everything they say. So
Right.
I'll go back and rewatch it and say, "Oh wow, okay, I didn't."
Because
That way I get to
yeah,
watch, too. So
you're distracted. Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get
Yeah.
distracted and
Yeah. But that's where, you know what, go talking about that virtual world just for a moment again. That's where I figured in advance as well that because I'd watched you guys doing your shows, and I could sort of sense the multitasking nature of having to run everything. So that's where I just took a back seat to things, and
Mhm.
I handed things off to Bob and Roy for the most part to look after the interviewing part, the hosting. And then I was just able to focus on those behind the scenes things and bring everybody on at the proper time and take people out. And yeah, it worked very slick to have that. Basically, I acted as producer, right? So I just was in the background and I was
Right.
coordinating things, and yeah. Roy, we'll get you on StreamYard yet. Don't worry. I think it'll make your
Well,
life a lot easier.
I think he's definitely thinking about it. He says he just needs to get time to mess with it.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
definitely.
I got
I'm very impressed.
Suleiman, whatever. I guess that's their code name or their profile name. He said, "Hey guys." So there you go. Yeah, hey guys.
Yeah.
So like I said, this show is all sci-fi. So we can talk about Trek, Space 1999, any Jerry Anderson, anything. So
Yeah.
anybody has
Oh,
any questions?
if I can just, I'll just circle back to 2024 now. Then obviously, and I don't want to take up a lot of time, but it's out there in the interwebs. But when we do get to that point, we're going to also uh, focus on the 50th anniversary of the series. So we're going to sort of take this opportunity. We've there's been some shuffling even behind the scenes with people helping out, and of course Roy coming on board here. More earnestly in the last few months, and Todd, with your help with virtual and even things like with Calgary. I know we're going to be talking, we're going to be working on things together, so I appreciate that. And but yeah, so we're going to in relation to partnering with those UK folks, this will sort of tie in nicely, I think, with also incorporating a celebration, a 50th anniversary celebration of the series. And we'll have some very, very special things planned to go along with once we all get to London, even like the aforementioned Milton Keynes trip. I mean, there's no way I would not think of planning a day trip out there, right? So we'll all probably just rent a
Right,
bus and go to that nice little museum and see Moonbase Alpha
right.
and everything
That's
that
definite.
Jim Winch has set up with the moon buggy and yeah. Aside from things that have been in the works all along, the a visit to Pinewood and Black Park, which Roy and I got to experience back in 2014, and even Bray Studios, where they filmed the visual effects.
Right.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely. There's some good things to visit while you're there too.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
That's the thing about our 1999 conventions. They're more of a family reunion get together type thing. So even after the convention is over with around 5 o'clock, usually afterwards, there's dinners and stuff like that,
Yeah,
and a lot of the guests sit with you and eat with you. And then there's always we can take a trip. I'm sure they would enjoy going to see some of that stuff. So
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I
definitely.
have to say that's one of the things. I mean, where the folks, I mean, the guests do intermingle with the fans, and that's just an experience that's really makes it that much more special. And it's that type of atmosphere, and it's conventions have really gotten to be, I mean, large because of the scope. And with something like Star Trek or Star Wars, you really can't have that type of intimacy, I'll say. I
right,
mean, and again, I keep referring back to the Star Trek series set tour. I mean, that's one thing that kind of went with when they do their event with Trek Ticonderoga, and being a part of that event, it's really nice because it's a smaller scale. But again, as things evolve and things grow, it's just that there's more and more people, and then the opportunity to do that. With 1999, it's been pretty much a constant with the fan base, where it's not incredibly large, but it's solid and it's very strong, and the fans have stuck together for over the period of which
yeah,
it still makes me shake to think it's going to be 50 years. But with that said, it also allows to have the interaction and the camaraderie. Everybody knows how much I love that word amongst everybody.
yeah.
So it's really cool.
It is cool. I never. You don't get that in the other the other genres because they're just too
It's
big
too
and
many people. Yeah.
You're you're right, Todd. But Roy, to follow up on what you just said about Ticonderoga, that's where Vulcan, Alberta, has a small little. It's not an expo; it's a fest, so it's only a few hundred
Mm,
people, and it's
right. And
so
that's
fun to attend. It's the same because it's on that smaller scale. You get to meet more people, you bond with people, and you keep in touch with people more, as opposed to going to an expo with 100,000 people where you're just a number,
right.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, lots of benefits to those smaller type of events and communities like 1999, of course, and then in my experience, Twin Peaks is another one. I've
Mm,
traveled to a small fest; it's only a few hundred people, and I've made lifelong friends through that too. So yeah,
yeah.
nice.
It's really cool. It makes it that much more special. And what's nice
um,
now too is with the internet, if folks can't make it to the event for whatever reason, because everybody, their job situation or if they've got family commitments, what's nice is that through the powers to be with the internet, people are able to communicate. And now with doing virtual, the virtual event, the virtual con, the first, con that was done last year, and then also if we have the opportunity to do events like this, doing these shows, and we are able to have different folks on that take their time out to speak, there's still that connection where it all comes together. So
right.
it really is a positive with the way technology has helped us out and with things of this nature.
And speaking of things like that, we got Wonderfest coming up.
Mm,
So that's in Kentucky, in Louisville, Kentucky, and that is just a sci-fi model builders heaven. Yeah, you go in there, and you can find about anything from Godzilla to Space 1999 to Star Trek to I mean anything sci-fi from the 60s, 50s on all the way. I mean, if you walk out of there without something you were looking for, then you weren't looking very hard. So I've been going to this thing for the last 5 years, and I've another place that I've met a lot of people that are also in these groups that we all are a part of. So they come from you know the UK, Australia, all over the world just to this event, this 2-day event, and it's June 4th and 5th this year, and I'll be there again, and I'll have the what we call is the props and ships parlor. So I've got two rooms and then a big parlor in between. So we usually have a nice little display up there. I mean, a year or so ago we were up there, and I don't. If the fire marshal would have walked in, we'd all been in trouble. There was way too many people in that room. I don't know how. I mean, it was crazy. We were just talking about this and pointing here, and some people sitting down, some people standing up. It was fun, and it goes till like 2 o'clock in the morning like that.
wow, that's awesome.
So I'm looking forward to that. I'll have a table there that I'll be selling some kits and stuff, and Mike and Debbie Reeder will be there from Canada. They didn't get to go the last few times because of the
The
COVID and
world.
everything.
Yep.
The
Yep.
world shut down, but they're looking forward to that. Although, God love them, their gas right now is ridiculous. I can't imagine their gas cost because they drive.
Mm,
So,
They do, and I can attest to that because they're neighbors of mine in the next province over. So yeah, that would be a big undertaking from a fuel perspective alone. So I hope they don't have any problems on the road or things like that. But I know they're looking forward to it because yeah, they've everything that Mike does there with the aluminum is just it's a perfect fit for everything at Wonderfest and
oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah. If you sit, my table's right next to Mike's and Mike and Debbie's, and they are constantly busy, busy. It's a good thing there's two of them. Sometimes I sit over there and help them because there's a lot of people that just come in and out of there.
well, I remember seeing the table that they had set up at the 19 convention and the
Yeah,
17, and there's a lot to it. And
yeah,
yeah,
busy,
and this
busy.
Wonderfest is just amazing. I mean, I've never been there, but just from seeing all the different photographs that are shared, and the different people that have the opportunity to go there and just enjoy all the different models and everything. It's nice that gatherings like this exist and that they're so focused. And something like this, I think back, I wish we had this when we were younger, because
Oh man,
it would have been not to say that it's not amazing now, but can you imagine if we had something like this like 20, 30 years ago? I'll even say 30 years
actually,
ago.
Wonderfest has been going on for at least 20 years. I just didn't know about it. I mean,
Oh, okay.
um, Facebook is the only thing that has. I mean, it's getting things out there. They're getting a lot of. Facebook is the best way to communicate things and advertise.
Right.
It's not the best place to do like model builds and try and keep everything cataloged. I mean, forums are better than that, and a lot of people are not using the forums anymore. I just heard that Resident Illuminati forum is going to close down. So it's what worries me is what are we going to do when Facebook disappears?
Right. Exactly.
How are we
And it
going to
could
get a hold of
happen.
everybody? And I mean, YouTube will still be there, I'm sure. So, but man, that would really suck because
Yeah,
this
it would.
won't be happening. We won't. I mean, this is all you know on Facebook, and so
My guess is
That
there would be other platforms that are out there that could potentially, televise on or
maybe
communicate
we
on.
all
I
need to
think
put
those
our
are the
heads
things.
together and make our own platform
Yeah, and then
before
we
all
can
this
become zillionaires.
disappears.
It just yeah, we'll become zillionaires as well.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's a good point because you know what, and it's not only how will we keep in touch going forward if Facebook ever goes away, but how will we archive the 20 years of information that has been
Hmm.
accumulated so far, right? Like it would be a shame to lose all that.
Yeah,
Well, it's funny you're saying that because I was even saying to Todd before we started that one of the things I started doing was I started archiving like the show, because there's a lot
Mhm.
of interviews that I've done, and not only with folks from the industries, but even with like family. And like I've had my son Ryan on, and to me that's really special because I can look back on that and maybe someday yeah, I don't I want to be around for a little while, but it's
right,
something that he'll have, and he could say, this, I did this with, he could share this with his kids, not, whether they're sci-fi or not, but and just say, I did this, with my dad, and I just think that things like that, it would be nice to be able to save all this stuff, and fortunately, you can download the interviews and preserve it. We had a situation that happened, I think maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 months ago, where Facebook went down for a day, and right away I was just like super concerned about that because I'm thinking about all the material that I had and that friends have had that have been done. It potentially could be lost just like that because we really, if they decide to pull the plug, what are we going to do? I mean, we do not have access to it unless we've backed it up. So
right.
Well, and it's like from the 80s once, I remember back in the day, the big thing when I was growing up, late 80s, early 90s, and everybody thought this was the end all be all was to buy a camcorder and record all their life's events on camcorder. And then all those tapes sat in, VHS tapes sat in a box that rotted over the next 20 years. And
Yeah,
if you weren't savvy enough to record all that to digital, it's all lost anyway, right?
exactly.
right,
Yeah,
yeah.
I did my family videos, my home videos, and I transferred them over to DVDs, and now I've got to transfer them to digital somehow. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Right.
tough to keep up with all the changing and of everything that's going on. So very tough. Um, let's see. Jan said 55 superb high res photos of the Eagle One are still available from the auction site. I got those when I saw them too. I think I cataloged them in the props and chips photo albums. But man, I still haven't heard from where that thing ended up. I wonder if anybody's heard anything.
I was just going to ask you, Todd, how have you if you heard anything about that? But nothing's been. There's no news out there about that.
No,
Hmm.
no, I haven't heard anything. I heard Peter somebody might have it he's got a big collection of stuff. Peter, can't remember. But anyway, even I even saw Chris Trice asking to see if anybody knew. I'm not even sure if David Sisson knows exactly who got it. I mean,
How much did
sometimes
that go for? Do you remember how much that went for on the
It
auction?
was 125
Wow.
pounds,
pounds. So
1,000 pounds. Yeah.
Wow.
You
yeah,
convert that to US and let alone on top of that Canada, that's a big chunk of.
So it's
yeah,
probably like about 100 almost what, 160, 170,000 US maybe, guessing. Probably at least 170, maybe even
yeah,
more.
yeah.
Wow.
That's. I mean, I understand. I don't know if I could ever part with it if I had it, but he's had it a long time. So
Right.
Well,
Peter Jackson is what. Okay, so Dave Howard. Hey, Dave. Rumored it went to Peter Jackson. So
Interesting.
I heard he's got some kind of collection, and
he's a big fan. He is a big Anderson fan, the famous director, and
Is that who you're referring to? Peter Jackson, who did
yeah, Lord of
the
the Rings,
whatchamacallit movies? Lord of the
Lord
Rings
of the Rings.
movies?
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so
Wow.
he's got it. Will we see it? I don't know.
I mean, you have to consider that. I mean, that is life changing money. That's not something that you or
Yeah,
I or anybody. We love this community, and there's some big spenders, some big pockets out there, but that's beyond the reach of anybody that we know. I'm afraid. So
Right.
yeah.
that would have to make sense that it would be somebody like Peter Jackson to have
It's
that.
unconfirmed, like Dave said. We don't have confirmation of that, but that's the rumor.
Amazing.
Wow.
Yep.
It's interesting. Let me tell you this funny story real quick. You're talking about life-changing money. They're they have the Mega Million lottery that takes place, and I think they do it in several states within the U.S. and they link it together. And about 3 years ago, and it was in February, I think it was February or March of 2019, I believe it happened. What happened was it was up to almost like $185 million, and I went to the convenience store on the way home from doing a murder mystery dinner theater rehearsal, and I bought just two quick picks. And then the guy said to me, he goes, "Well, somebody made a mistake and they didn't want it. So he goes, would you want to buy it for another $2?" And I said, "Sure." And I said, "Wouldn't it be funny if this was the winning ticket?" Fast forward a week later, what happened was a guy that I went to high school with purchased a quick pick, was fiddling around with the cell phone, left the ticket there, and then what happened was he left and went back in there. The cashier had put the ticket aside for him, gave it to him. The drawing took place, and he went in there on a Sunday and he scanned the ticket and it said jackpot winner, and he won like about $185 million.
Oh
And this
my
is somebody
God.
I went to high school with, and I was
Oh,
just like, oh my God. Could you imagine? I was blown away by that. And it was on the local news and everything, and I was thinking, man, could have built Moonbase Alpha, could have built
well, I mean, yeah, the first thing I'd be doing if I won 185 million is calling up Peter Jackson saying, look,
Give
look,
it up.
I'll give you 126 grand.
Yeah.
that's the closest
Hell, man, I'll
life-changing
double
money
your
that I'll
money.
ever get.
Give me that bad boy.
And the funny thing is, this guy wrote in his yearbook, in the yearbook, he wrote one of the blurbs that he had was "to get rich quick." It took
Oh
him
my
it
God.
took him 35 years, but it was in there. You can't make it up.
No, you can't. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
had to share. I had to share.
I'm going to go get another coffee, guys. You okay for a couple of minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna do a little. Um, obviously, most of you guys know I sell some other kits that for props and ships, and we've got a little bit of stock left. And I like to get rid of them and do some new ones for Wonderfest. But I'm gonna share what I got here and see if anybody's interested in some of these kits. So anyway, here we go. We got the side-on kit. It's in scale with the 22-inch Eagle.
Oh, very cool.
Any of this stuff you guys want, you can always just email me at 1999propsandships@gmail.com, and we can get you hooked up with it. So as you can see right down here, that's the 22-inch Eagle, and that's the side-on. This is the model. It's a pretty simple model kit. Anybody should be able to do it. If not, we've got David Boyer that builds stuff for us. He's doing pretty good so far. He's pretty well backed up, so it's not going to happen right away. And then we've got the 148 scale Ultra Probe Command Module kit. I've got this thing in 3 different scales: 172, 148, and then the studio scale. So yeah,
Very nice.
And just hit me up on any of this stuff you want. Here's the Antonio Rigador 308 bits guy. He and I worked together on this passenger pod kit. It's got the closets and the computers and the chairs and everything. It's just a nice little interior detailed set.
That's
It's
so cool.
really nice. He did a really good job, and the prices are not that bad. So
No, that isn't bad.
yeah, Antonio's a good guy, and he's really good at 3D mastering. So this is a kit that was done by AJA Models. It's the Sycon ship, and matter of fact, I'm getting ready to ship out George JC's model. He's been waiting on quite a long time. We got it ready, and it's getting ready to go out. You can see up here, it's in scale with the 12-inch Eagle, the original kit, or the 1612 models. Yeah. So I mean, it's
cool.
It's the paint job is the hardest thing, but it comes with the Aztec dummy paint masks. So he did a pretty good job with that. So this one down here was painted by David Boyer. This one also up here, that's the bottom of it once we got it painted. So it's a pretty nice little kit. Here's the 172 Ultra Probe Command Module kit. All these Ultra Probe Command Module kits come with decals. So they're all pretty nice little kits. And you can see this is with the 14-inch Eagle, the new 172. So it's in scale with that also. It's really
Very
close.
nice.
You can have it with the 12-inch or the 14-inch. You really can't tell the difference. Here's the Christmas ornaments we did this year.
Oh yeah.
For
Nice.
Antonio designed them. Again, the 308 bits guy. He designed them for us, and then I sent them off to get 3D printed. And these are David Boyer's painting jobs. And then here's on my Christmas tree.
Very
Nice.
cool.
So then we have Tony Densley created this little kit for us. He made it one for himself, and I said that'd be pretty cool as a kit. And so he sent me the set, and I sent it off to one of the caster guys to do masters. And this is what we came up with. This is the painted one. You can see it down here with it's a Konami scale. So if you got a Konami Eagle, this is perfect for that.
Nice.
And here's my original Uncle Bill. I think they're 1/6 or no 1/3 scale, I believe. Comlock and stun gun.
Look at the detail on that.
Oh yeah,
it's incredible.
Amazing.
Uncle Bill's kits are always highly detailed. He is an amazing guy as far as making masters and pulling casts. But he sold me the masters of this, so I've definitely I appreciate that. He's good. Anything Uncle Bill, it's good. Whether it's 1999 or any Jerry Anderson, he does all kinds of stuff.
Hmm.
There's my Studio Skill Hawk kit.
Mm, very
Yes,
nice.
it's expensive, but it's also expensive to create. So
Yeah.
it's not everybody. Like I said, not everybody can collect these big things. But you see that picture of me? I think that was at Alpha 2017, wasn't it?
I
Looks
think
like
so. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
So those are Gordon's, and I've got mine sitting right over here. You can see it right next to me.
Yep.
And then there's the Studio Scale Ultra Probe Command Module. Andy Grimshaw did a run of them in the UK,
Wow, look at that.
and I bought the masters and molds from him, which coming from the UK wasn't cheap. Let me tell you.
Well, I'm
But
But
sure.
that's a really good price too. That's amazing.
yeah, yeah, it's a really good price. And then you
Yeah.
see me and Augie at Wonderfest holding that one up. So, like I said, all these come with decals and all the parts, and you just got to put them together. And then I think I've got, oh, and I do sell the Voodoo Effects electronic kits for the new MPC stun gun and Comlock kits. Um, I sell them cheaper than that you'll find them at any of the online sites. So if you guys are interested, I've sold probably almost 40, 45 kits already. So
Wow.
I'm
Are those hard to put together, Todd? As far as putting those in?
not really. He's Randy Newbert. He does it. So, you don't have to be an expert at doing it. There's instructions on it. A little bit
Okay.
of soldering with just a soldering iron, just heating it up a little bit. So
Yeah.
shouldn't be too hard. And it comes with instructions. So, um, but he does Voodoo Effects does kits for all kinds of model kits. So he's a hell of a guy. He did our Eagle 22-inch Eagle light to light up the cabin, and then
Yep.
you can light up the rest of the. You can do all kinds of stuff. So um, these these things are made for the not. You don't have to be a pro to put them in. So
Okay. Yeah.
Gotcha. It reminds me of all the glisters when and as kids. I mean, I remember geeking out as
oh, yeah,
of course, it's not one of the best year two episodes, but the fact that she has the stun gun open and then she's got the screwdriver and she's trying to, modify the stun gun so all four barrels are going to, shoot at the same time.
oh
It was
yeah,
just so cool to see the innards of that. Or even when Tony uh, crushes the one comm lock in the immunity syndrome, and
oh
you get to see
yeah.
the innards of that. That was cool because just as a fan,
It
just
wasn't
to
cool
see
because
the
when he
innards.
crushed that thing, I was like, wait a minute, I'll take that. I want one of those. The ones
No,
they sold back then weren't even lifelike.
No, no. So
exactly.
we're so fortunate. Um, I had one question, Todd, about that Comlux stun gun kit. Generally, like, are you able to put some sort of weight in it to give it just a little more of a lifelike feel?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Um, by the time you get the electronic parts in it and everything, it's pretty stout.
Well, that's what I was thinking too. Is that would probably just automatically add a little bit of
Yep.
to it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Over the years they've had the resin ones and all that stuff, and that's kind of made everybody think, oh man, this is what it's supposed to. But if you hold the original one from that David Hirsch has, it's not that heavy either.
That's true. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So of course they had to figure out the cord that came out the end of it, but
Right.
that's
Yeah.
not that heavy.
Yeah.
And David
Yeah.
David helped get the right colors and everything like that for that. So pretty
Yeah.
cool.
I have to say too, Todd, you got so many people out there. There's so many talents that are a part of all this. But one guy that I just want to just say hi, and I saw that he was out there, and I just have to say I see his work a lot. Is Mark Myers? I mean, and he lives in New Jersey. He's right down the road from me too. But his, again, not taking away from anybody, but just want to give him a shout out and just say, hi to him, and
Yeah,
just
Mark.
very so impressed by his work. I mean, the stuff that he
Oh
does
yeah.
with the Enterprise and with the Eagles,
Mhm.
and he posted the communicators and the phasers that he did. He did a recreation of the Assignment Earth.
Ooh, look at that. Look at
Same
that.
Mark Myers build.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Beautiful.
He's
Beautiful.
it's amazing. It's gorgeous. And I think I saw he did something with the Eagle where the passenger module door opened and you could actually see the inside of it too. But look at that though with the lighting and everything. It's
That is
just
amazing.
Yeah.
yeah.
Mark is really good, and Mark doesn't like, he doesn't want all the stuff, the extra bitty bit. If it wasn't built like that in the stock, he didn't want any other lights in that. He only wanted the cabin lights because that's the way it was done in the show.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he I know people think it's weird, but he just wants everything to be exactly it was.
Screen
I
accurate.
Screen
Yeah.
accurate.
and
Yeah.
I can appreciate that because I tend to be a purist myself with
Mm-hmm.
different things. And I wish I could do builds. I'm just I don't have it in me. But anyway, I just wanted to give him a shout out on that because it's
Yeah,
Wasn't
incredible.
there? Wasn't there? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, even we just mentioned David Howard. If you watch him in the Props and Ships in 1999 group, he just did a 44-inch like a display of a hangar. I mean, and he's built almost all those models. He's built the studio scale Ultra Pro command module. He's built all kinds of
Wow.
stuff. So Dave Howard, you got
Yep.
Bim. I mean, you got so many people, model builders out there that are just
It's
Andy
amazing.
Grimshaw.
And can we talk for a moment about size doesn't matter and maybe just briefly touch on Gordon's 88?
He's always got to have the bigger one, doesn't he? You think he was
That's
a real
amazing.
short guy.
I can't imagine how much room in his house he's going to have to dedicate to that. That's crazy, but good for him.
Big. I can't
I
wait.
can't wait to see that.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that he gets it before Wonderfest and brings it to Wonderfest.
Oh, that's just incredible detail and craftsmanship on that thing. Just beautiful.
Well, Andy Grimshaw and Jeff Gasco were the builders on that 88-inch. I'm sure there was other people involved, but man, that thing. The only other 88 that I know of is the Sci-fi Bill George, and it's not even it's only completed on one side.
Right. Yeah.
So you got Andy and Jeff. Those guys are pretty awesome.
Even for shipping, like, do you know, Todd? Like, can you disassemble it? So
Yes,
ship it in smaller pieces, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure everything comes apart. The engine section, the shoulders, pods, and the command module. So
right.
It's going to be shipped. I'd hate to have that bill though.
I know. I mean, that's even in separate pieces like that. When you look at the big picture, it's going to be hefty.
Well, the Ultra Pro command module molds and master that I got from Andy, from over there in the UK. I didn't know if I was gonna be able to afford that. So I don't know.
Yeah, probably a few $100 right there.
Oh, it was easily. It wasn't as much as we thought it was going to be back then, but with today's costs, I bet it's going to be a hefty sum. To be like,
I still keeping my fingers crossed that maybe 1612 down the road. I don't know. I keep hoping maybe they'll do the Ultra Probe. I think that would be amazing if they did that. I'm sure it'd be very expensive. But
they were going to do the Ultra Pro command module, but I'd like them to do the to match the kits, the 12-inch Eagles they're doing. That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Todd, is the like as far as round 2 now, like, are they basically done with their license after the larger Hawk that's come out?
I don't think so.
Do you think there's still a possibility of some more kits coming out? Yeah.
I sure hope so, because they introduced the 172 14-inch Eagle, and it needs pods. Needs the lap pod. It needs the cargo winch and all that stuff.
Yeah.
They got the Hawk already with that, so
yeah.
I'm hoping they venture out and do a few other things. I think Jamie still wants to do the Ultra Probe because it's going to be just the molds are going to be where they can repetitive.
Right. There's a lot of duplication on that kit.
Yes,
so
definitely.
Hopefully.
That would be something. I'm fingers crossed on that. That would be
amazing.
Great.
I think that's everybody's dream ship right there. That Ultra Probe just encapsulates everything that 1999 was about. It's just such a beautiful, gorgeous design.
Well, I would hope that they would do that, the Meta Probe, and I really hope that Jamie picks up the laser tanks, stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
You make a 3-pack of laser tanks, that kit will sell.
Of course. I never even thought of that. Yeah, but brilliant.
And I keep hoping you'll do a 22-inch Eagle 4 from the Metamorph.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
as a pre-build.
He actually did
as a pre-build.
Yeah. Oh, as a pre-build. Yeah.
Yeah.
He last time I talked to him about that, he said, "Let's see how the pre-build Enterprise, the one that they put out, goes."
Yeah.
And I think it's doing pretty well. So the good thing is, I get to talk to Jamie at Wonderfest. We usually have a dinner the first night we get there on Friday night, get everything set up, and then we all go out for a late dinner, and we just sit there and talk about what can we do and what I know. Jamie knows what people want, but what's what
feasible
is
from the business,
feasible from the business side. So
totally understandable.
He says nothing's off the table, but then he's got Star Wars license now too, so maybe that I don't know if that's going to be good or bad for us because might give him more money to play with to do other things.
Right.
So we'll just have to wait and see. But
there are always possibilities. Let's just throw that out there. That well, that's good because I was worried about that Star Wars licensing myself and thinking that maybe it would take away from the 1999 line. But like you said, maybe it'll only
it may just make things drag out a little bit longer because they do things. Looks like they do Trek. They do like a Trek and a 1999 kit in 1 year,
right?
And then now they're doing Star Wars, so maybe a new Trek, a new Star Wars, and a new 1999. Just be one kit a year, maybe.
Yeah, staggered a little more, maybe. Yeah,
staggered. Yeah, because he did a year or so ago. He did two 1999 kits in 1 year. So, and then they put this NPC. They put the Comlock and Stun Gun kit out. I'm hoping that's doing well.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I'm sure it is.
I would hope so. A lot of people have asked for it, and we hope so.
Yeah.
I'm really digging the diorama sets from 1612, like the Bringers of Wonder set. And I saw recently they're doing a Guardian of Piri one.
That's what they're wanting to do. Yeah,
that looks fantastic.
Yeah, not everybody can afford those, and I get myself intertwined in those arguments, and I really need to keep myself out because
it's a business decision. I understand fully why they do it, right? But from the fan perspective, it is frustrating that you couldn't just buy the diorama on its own and not have to, because everybody's got so many of those 12-inch Eagles now.
Well, I mean, but there's also for every person that's got one of those, there's only usually I think the biggest lot that I've seen them sell is 2,000. Most of them are around 1,000 and 1,500. So then you got 1,500 people that got that Eagles, all those 16, 12 Eagles, but then you got 10,000 that didn't. So if you buy the Piri set and you only want certain things out of it, sell the rest on eBay or whatever, or post it in these groups because there's plenty of people out there that didn't get a chance to get those Eagles.
That's true. That's true.
Product Enterprise went under. They went bankrupt because they went out and did 10,000 piece runs. Well, they didn't sell them all.
Yeah.
So then you sell 2,000 or 3,000, then you got 7,000 pieces still sitting there. Then you got to drop the price. I mean, I remember some of those 23-inch eagles were getting sold for a couple $100 at the end. I mean, something that was normally, $1,500.
And then fast forward 15 years later, when they were selling for 2,000 a piece.
Exactly.
Before the round twos
Right.
came out, it was
So,
incredible. I lived through that time. I think I had 5 of them myself, and the investment in those alone was just staggering.
I got one of yours.
Oh yeah, you know what? Yeah. The one it was all nicely signed by everybody, right?
Yeah. I had even added Barbara Bain and a few other autographs at 2019.
That's right. That's so cool.
Nice.
I'm glad that one found a good home, because I was really torn on some of that one with the signed base, boy, I tell you.
Right. Yeah, that was but see, you see them now on eBay for stupid money, but nobody's going to pay for them because we got all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
So
It's
people that have got them, that they're just thinking they can buy them and sell them for more. It's not going to happen.
There was
Todd,
a local distributor
if you ever wanted to sell that, let me know first.
Oh.
If you ever part ways with it, please.
Yeah. Probably won't. That's one of my prized possessions.
I know. Yeah,
I mean,
that was signed in Burbank in 2012. If I never told you.
Oh, I'm glad. I meant to ask you that.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to ask you that forever, and I keep forgetting. 2012.
I can't believe that convention was 10 years ago already. My God, that's crazy.
I was mentioning Dave Howard, and he built that 40 the studio scale little hangar, but he's also friends with Andy and Jeff, and he was over there just he said he took some pictures of it last week, the 88-inch Eagle, and while he was over at Andy's before it gets shipped. So that'd be cool if you'd post those pictures, Dave.
Oh yeah,
that would be really cool to see.
I can't wait to see it in person. I'm going to be like all over it. Hey guys, look at this.
You'll be shooting video.
I'm going to hold
this. That reminds me of a quick story about that big 30-foot Enterprise in Vulcan, Alberta, I was telling you about. And after the banquet and dance one night, we were a bunch of us were stumbling back to our hotel, and one of the guys I was with suddenly, oh boy, I don't know if I should tell this in a public forum, but whatever, it is what it is. He along the way, when we stumbled upon the Enterprise, decided to strip down to his bare nakeds and proceeded to climb this 30-foot statue up to the top of the Enterprise, and then basically began to love the Enterprise.
Bleep,
Oh
bleep.
my God! What?
I don't have a beeper on this thing. I can't bleep you out, so be careful.
Yeah,
He
that's not even right.
he was doing lewd and crude things, but it was quite the sight to behold. So Todd, when you see the 88,
I won't be doing that. No,
please keep your clothes on.
there'll be no crazy stuff. No, I'll just be so happy, and be like, man, look at this thing. This is huge. Well, because I would love to have seen Bill George's 88-inch Eagle, even though it's made for doing what he does for the Sci-fi. What is that?
Yeah.
The air show. The air show.
The air show.
Yeah.
So, but still, to see something that big of an eagle, man, and then you got Jan building a quarter scale eagle. Holy cripes! It's gonna go in his backyard. You'll be able to see it from Google Earth.
yeah, basically. Think about that.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
I can't wait. And I can't remember where he lives, but it's I guess a flyover wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when back in 1967 they have a photo of the 20th century lot when they had the Jupiter 2, because they actually constructed the exterior shell that they used in a couple of episodes. They used it in the Derelict, the second episode of the first season, and then they used it to a visit to a hostile planet when they go back to Earth, but it's in 1947. And somewhere if you go on the internet, you can see it every now and then. Somebody will post it in one of the Lost in Space forums, but they have this photo, like an aerial shot that was taking place over the 20th Century Fox Studios, and this little section you can see the saucer of where the Jupiter 2 was actually on the set outside. It just kind of
Wow. Well,
reminds me of
Roy, that reminds me of, now we said we were going to circle back to Star Wars, but do you remember our visit to Pinewood? The day we were
Yes,
there, and the reason security was so tight at Pinewood was that the day we were there, somebody had released and captured drone footage flying over Pinewood Studios, capturing the Millennium Falcon because they were actually filming Episode 7
right.
at the time.
Yeah, we
Wow.
couldn't get past the gate, Todd. We
Yeah,
were literally at the gate, and I've actually got some photos of that I've
yeah.
posted before. And we're literally trying to get in, and they wouldn't even let us be at the front gate. They were like saying, just take a hike. And the sad thing is, I mean, I get it from a standpoint, security and everything, but we were. It's not that we didn't care about Star Wars, but we weren't there for that. And then what
Right.
Warren and I did
Right. Yeah,
was
that was the
we took
irony, is we were there for a 50-year-old TV show that nobody'd ever heard of or remembered at that point.
e- exactly, and we went to Black Park, which literally borders in the back of Pinewood Studios. There's the studio fence there. So what we did was we went to Black Park, and Black Park, for a lot of the 1999 fans out there, they shot a lot of episodes. Full Circle being the one that immediately comes to mind, where with the cavemen in the first season,
Hmm.
and I think they also did A Matter of Balance with Lynn Fredericks was shot there. A lot of older
Um,
horror movies were done. The Hammer
Rules of
movies. There's a lot.
Rules of Luton, Roy. Rules of
Rules of
Luton.
Rules
Which,
of Luton, of course. Yeah, with the lake, they
yeah.
did that. In fact, we were at that platform where they actually had that. And but what we did was we rented bikes because we knew we couldn't get to the end of
Oh,
the park. And what we did was we rode the bikes, and we went from the entrance all the way to the gate. And we got to the gate, and then you could actually see L&M's sound stages on the other side of the fence where they shot Space 1999. So it was kind of a fun experience that we did.
oh. Speaking of, here you go. Boom. Ta-da!
Oh yeah, look at that. Hey.
That must be
Nice.
Dave himself, Dave Howard, in front. In I mean, wow.
Wow.
Incredible.
That is
That's
nuts.
amazing. Look how big that is.
So oh wow, that is just mind-boggling. Beautiful.
I mean, look at the um, behind Dave's
The
head there.
Discovery. The
The
Discovery.
Discovery. Look
Yeah,
at that thing. It's huge.
yeah.
I don't
And
think
I
Andy
love it.
Shaw does anything small these days.
I love it that it's Eagle 4.
Yeah.
Wow.
Boy, oh boy. Yeah,
That's
Gordon's probably not going to be able to hang that from a little bit of string.
that's incredible. And
That's
it's funny. Yeah, with him being in the picture, it puts it all in perspective of how big
well,
that
yeah,
is. Because if he wasn't
that's
in
what
the
it is.
photo,
You,
Exactly. Yeah.
you
That's,
really
you
don't
would
get a
you
sense of scale unless you see a human being beside it. It's just massive.
exactly. Wow, that is a beautiful. That's amazing.
Wow, good for Gordon. That's going to be amazing.
that's gonna be. That's gonna take up a whole room.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Yep.
I love that they have the discovery behind it though too. That's very very cool.
Yeah.
That must
Well,
be in Andy's house.
now,
I
how
know
long did it take him to build that? How long was that project?
it's a good question. I know it took him a while. I mean,
Years.
Yeah,
I don't know if Dave knows that answer that question or not. Um,
my one build in the last 30 years, one of the round 2 kits took me about a year and a half, and that was for a 22 inch.
Yeah.
You know, just working on it little bits at a time, right? I mean, I wasn't a hardcore builder, but it all came together. But yeah, and I even put it off for a few months. So I would think for an 88 like that, I'm sure a few years, start to finish.
You imagine
Probably.
putting the
I know
22 inch next to that.
Yeah,
they're pretty quick at some of that stuff though. But
Yeah.
you said something. You liked how he took a picture with him standing there, give you a reference. He said it
Scale.
needed more than a Coke can for scale.
yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. That was an awesome picture. That's great.
Mhm.
He says it's been many years many years in the making, on and off. So
Yeah,
over
I'm
the years
sure.
they've been putting it together.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
It's getting a
Just
good
You know,
home. So that's
some of the projects over in the UK, like the Command Center set and things like that, that Jim Winch and Hilton and everybody worked on. Yeah, I mean, wonderful outcomes, but I'm sure it was years and years of research
hmm
and development.
I have to
pretty
give a shout
crazy.
out to Lou Place. Back in the day, he actually built the cabin, the Eagle cockpit for them when he made his movie, Voyage to Meta, and that was amazing. And I've posted a few photos of that being on that, and it was probably and since been torn down. He had it actually on the second level in a barn that he had at by the old house where he lived, and it's amazing because he did that from photographs. He did that in regards to just piecing it together, and then he built that. I'll say it's almost about a 44-inch Eagle, and he was needing to make room, and I actually have it, and it's very, very fragile, but it's amazing though that he was able to put that together, and again, it's predate of internet and
It's
accessibility of
amazing what he did. We were talking
yeah.
earlier about 1970s TV resolution. That would have been his only frame of reference.
Yeah, or
Right.
Starlog magazines, yeah, or
Yeah, maybe a
magazines,
little bit.
yeah.
Yeah, pictures, I guess. Yeah. But
But
boy,
no internet though, yeah, pre-internet.
Here's here's Bill George's um, 88.
oh,
So,
yeah, look at
but
that.
you can tell just because you can. I mean, the other side of this is not done. You don't see the foot on the other side, but I mean, the details are
Right.
there. I think this is
Yep.
the 31-inch hawk that I have next to me, one that same size sitting there. But yeah,
Good
big
Boy,
babies.
oh my
Yeah,
goodness. Yeah,
and that's a 31-inch hawk, and it looks small. That's how
yeah, right.
that's the amazing piece.
That is nuts. And he said the discovery that was behind him in the photo before was 11 foot.
I was going to say 10 or
Wow,
12. Yeah, 11 feet. Absolutely unbelievable.
it's incredible.
Unbelievable. Some of these guys are, like I said, I'm going to do a special show just for the Dave Howards and the Andy Grimshaws out there.
Yeah,
So, and then they'll be included in the virtual thing too. So, because Props and Ships group is all about model building. I mean, obviously we discuss other things there too, but that's where I want to capture all these 22-inch Eagles that we were able to get and all the dioramas and all that stuff. So, but I like to get Mark Myers and to kind of go through one of these builds for the 1-350 Enterprise, all
Mhm.
that stuff. So I think that'd be kind of cool. I mean,
yeah,
I love.
definitely.
I've got both. I've got that one was built by him. It's got the electronics and everything in it, but I've got the one just a display model at my office at work.
And that was a pre-built, right? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Yeah.
So that's the ones that he was talking about. Hopefully they sold well, and maybe that'll give us a chance to get a pre-built Eagle 4.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
fingers crossed on that. Hoping for
Love
that.
it. Love it. Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
definitely. And then I see some new people jumped on here just shortly. Okay, OLE. What would you guys? Oli?
Ollie?
Alstrip. Ollie
Yeah.
Alstrip. He's in okay, so he's in the same place that it looks like he's from Denmark, where Jan's from. He says he's going to go visit Jan and check out that eagle that he's building.
Nice.
Nice.
Hopefully, I didn't kill your name, but you know who I'm talking about. Simon Brett just joined us. So, and we've been on 2 hours and 18 minutes already.
Wow, that went fast.
Yeah, it does.
And I do have to run, but Todd, thank you for having us on. This is great.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I'm gonna probably wrap things up here for today.
Yep. Thank you so much. We haven't even talked Star Wars yet. We should do another one.
We'll do it next time.
Yep. Awesome.
Yep, definitely, because we've got some Star Wars fans out there too.
Yeah. Nice to see you guys.
Yep.
You
Thanks,
too.
guys, for joining me.
No, thanks again, Todd. Take
Yep.
care, Warren. Good seeing.
See you guys
thanks,
later.
everybody.
All
Take
right,
care.
see you.
Bye-bye.
So everybody, it's been little over 2.5, almost 2.5 hours today, and all I was doing was a general discussion, see how things can roll in from there. It's pretty awesome how everybody joins in and thanks the guys from the UK that joined in. I know it's late where you're at. Good night, Dave Howard. Good night, all you guys from the UK. Simon Brett, all you guys. Good show here, and we'll be doing it again. The next show will be on, I think, April 10th, because I'll be out of town on the next few Sundays. So we will catch you guys later. Thanks for joining. We'll see you next time. Peace out.